J. Williams, your motivational godfather. I'm here because you know I love you and I believe in you. There's greatness planted inside you. You need a little bit of water to grow up beautifully. And I'm here for sectors because whatever planted inside you, when you bring it out there, you're not going to be the only person to benefit, but your children's children. All right. Today we're coming to talk about this beautiful topic. It's about how you can become rich in a poor country or a poor continent. You know, we've been told that the richest place in the world is America, and all of us want to go to America, you know, a land of milk and honey. Meanwhile, there's about 30 million Americans who live in the caravan. 30 million American lives in the caravan. They live in the caravan park. They're not homeless though. Homeless is different. I'm talking about people who live in a caravan park. It means they don't live in a house, in a building. They live in a car or they live in a caravan. Meanwhile, that place is the richest place. Apparently, is the land of milk and honey. And so what is the causes? If you come to Australia, Australia is so rich. Like, that's what we all know. We all want a place that, you know, we can become rich. And that's why people will go through Libya, all the way through the desert, just to get to Europe, get to the richest places. Meanwhile, you can become rich wherever you are. All right, so let's go seven simple ways that I've discovered. And one, you need to believe in yourself. That's the issue that we have. Being a black person, talking to my black people or talking to youth, the issue that we have is we don't believe in ourselves. We don't even see ourselves being anything just like a worm or just like, you know, empty can. And we are just holding it up because we want God to fill our cup. So we have empty cup and we are just holding it on slowly for God to fill it up for us. Meanwhile, that shouldn't be the case. God has already filled us up, like, you know, make us who we are before. And so you need to believe in yourself. If you believe that you are born poor and you will die poor, that is what is going to happen to you. You know, some people always think because they were born from a poor family, a poor background, you were born in bourgeoisie, so you don't think you can make it to anywhere. That's not true. That's not true. Some people think they were born in a fiekuma, so they can't make it through. That's not true. Our belief takes us to wherever we want to be in this planet. And so it doesn't matter even if you live in America and you believe that you can't make it in America, you can never make it. You know, I never knew Australia, even we have homeless people here. I never knew it till I got here. There are about almost 200,000 people who are homeless. Homeless means somebody who's like, you know, all his life, everything that he wealth is what is in the backpack. And that person sleep on the street, begging for alms. We have about 200,000 people. And so don't believe that idea that if you move to the richest country, you become rich. There's a place in this world which have a lot of rich people, but still there's poor people there. There's poor people in UK, there's poor people in Canada, there's poor people in America, there's poor people in Australia. All right, so number two, money has no home. It lives everywhere he wants. As far as you do what money wants, money will come and stay with you. And so the belief that we need to come to the West to make it successful, it's not true. It's not. It's not. You don't understand how people go through here. And so you think the money is just somewhere on the street. Like, in my house, it's nighttime. Like, I would take you to my backyard. Probably I've planted a couple of them there. No, it doesn't work like that. I was telling my wife, like, the only free thing that we enjoy in Australia is the air that blow outside. Like, the air that we breathe outside is the only free thing that we enjoy in Australia. So you can be rich anywhere. It's all about mindset. If you made up your mind that you can't succeed in Africa or you can't succeed in your country, you need to move to other country to be prosperous, it will happen that way unless you move or unless something happens that you change your mindset, which you need to work on your conscious mind, to work on your subconscious mind. Then the infinite intelligence will consider you to reconstruct your belief. And if that's not the case, so be it. Because from zero, from day one that you were born up to 8 years, you copied everything from your parent. And so sometimes you look like them. Sometimes you behave like them. There's some behavior that you didn't like about your mother or your dad. And now you're doing it to your kids. And you sit down and you said, oh, I didn't like this about my dad, but I'm doing it. And you never stop because it's subconscious thing. It's part of you now. All right. So money can move anywhere in the world. Money can stay in your pocket, your wallet. Money can stay anywhere. There's process to make money. There's process to become rich. There's process to become free. All right. So number 3, you must always think about being financially free. Or you must always think about financial freedom. The process of becoming financially free. Gone are the days when the slave trade was a business. For a slave to be rescued or for a slave to get out of his master's arm, he needs to pay his way out. It's the same today. Even the same thing is happening today in the economy. But one thing is that we are like, free slave. You walk around, there's no boundaries. So you think you are free. No, you are also a slave. We are still slaves in this economy. And that's why, the system has made it in a criteria that if you are born from a royal family, they know that automatically. You even respect that person, that the person is a royal. So you don't touch the royal family. You don't touch the rich people's family. But if the child is born from a poor family, automatically the system has made it in a way that you grow up to become poor. Like in Ghana, they used to have schools. That means you need to go to private school to get to senior high school. Because when you go to private school, it's likely for you to get a good grade to get a better senior high school. Then from there, it's likely that you go to Legon or you go to KUST or you go to Cape Coast University. Like, something like that. But for us, that was Banchase, like, for us, that our parents, like, nothing was happening. So we need to go to Banchase, and from Banchase, we went to Tamsko B, from Tamsko B or Brachere. Now, wow, that witty. I had friends who were writing SSCE, like, our timing was SSCE. Even though we finished school, people were still writing SSCE when I went to Ghana in 2011. Can you imagine? So you need to always have that mindset. You want a financial freedom. You want freedom. I'm always talking about money or wealth because you don't understand it. The reason why I'm saying that is it gives you freedom. Have you ever sat down? It's summer here, and it's a bit warm here. Have you ever sat down to think about it? That let's take money out of your situation. You don't worry about money. You have like dozens. You have billions in your account. How would your life be? How would you serve people? How would you support people? Have you thought about it? This is why I'm always on you, because when you wake up, you go to work. When you wake up, you go to work. You come home, you go to work. You don't even have time to discover who you are. By the time you realize you're 65, you're 70 years, you're gone. And that's why cemetery is the richest place in the world. All right. So the more you think about financial freedom, the more your subconscious mind attracts those freedom to you. So you must always think about freedom. All right, number 4, stop saying that my mother was poor, my parents was poor, and so I'm going to grow up to become poor. You need to stop saying those things, because our words that we speak are powerful than what we think. This world, the entire world, the entire universe, according to Bible, it was created just a word of mouth. Let there be light, there was light. Let the darkness be night, and the light be day. It was. Let the ocean, let all the water separate itself and become one. That's the ocean. And it did. Let all animals appear. It was just words. And so you must always say good things about yourself. Even though your parents may be born poor, when you grew up in Africa and you think, oh, those people are poor, so you have that mindset, you continue with that mindset. In the long run, you realize that it has eaten you up, and you grow up to nothing, and you always want less, because that's how you grew up though. But you need to grow up being better than that. All right. As Bill Gates said, it's not your fault to be born poor, but it will be your fault to die poor. And that means you can change your destiny. It doesn't matter your family's destiny, but you can change your personal destiny. That's why I'm always on you, because if you change, somebody in your family will copy you. If you become successful, somebody in your family will copy you. That's why I'm always on you. I believe in you. I believe that you can do it. All right. Let's go to number 5. Number 5, you must always have a rich mindset, because like begets likes. So if you think rich, you will have riches around you. You have people who think rich about life. There's more to life than just thinking about money. That's what I always say. There's good health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, peace of mind, and a whole world of money. Of course, there's money there, but that's part of riches. And so you should always know that having a good health is also another form of being rich. But when you get the money, all these things can be done. But you can have all the money, but if you don't have a peace of mind, it's another thing. So all of them end up to be a state of mind. Everything that you are watching around you happen from here. All right, so number 6. Number 6, the country that you live in, if that country is rich, it doesn't mean you are rich. That's one thing we don't know. We never thought of it. We never thought of it as people. So all what we want is, let's travel to Australia, or let's travel to America, let's travel to UK to become rich. Meanwhile, UK as a country is rich, but individually, you may be poor. In Australia here, I'm taking Australia as an example. The house that I live in, my house, if if I knew her, maybe it would be a different story. But let me tell you this: you have a land, like you've seen a land, and you buy it. You go to the bank, you get the loan, you buy the land. After buying the land, paying, building the house, everything is going on. Then the council will come. The council, which is looking after the whole environment, will come and tell you that you build your house on our land, so you need to pay like 2% of the value of your house every year. Every year. So if this house is gonna be here for 30 years, every year I'm gonna pay 2% of the value of my house. It's interesting. But in Africa, you can buy a land, live it as long as you want. Nobody will ask you for property rate. And so that's what you need to know, that it's easy for you to become rich in a poor country than an advanced country. Because here, they are advanced already. What are you here for? To help to clean up the environment? To help to watch the environment? What are you here for? Sometimes I really wonder that we put our money, resources together, and all what we do is we travel to the West and to become ordinary people with no vision, no mission, because the system there has already classified majority of the people to be second-class citizens, as they call it, second class. So for you to struggle to end up to the first class is gonna be a long time, because one, the people that lives around you, they all have similar buildings or same level of buildings. If you come to my neighborhood, I'm like, the first person who had a story building and the next neighbor who had a story building. Apart from that, all the houses are single level or single house or something like that, because they want you to see yourself like, we are all rich together. No, 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 no. These houses that you see here, it's like the house that in Efiekuma. Those houses that people live in Efiekuma, and you think, oh, they're poor people. It's the same here. The same here. Compare the houses that you live in your suburb to Turak. A $5 million house, $10 million house. Compare your house to that. Compare the house you live in to Templestone. So, please, they've made the system for you to know that, oh, we are all struggling, we are all making it. No, you're not. You're all struggling because you're all going to struggle for that long time. So if you want to become successful, look back home. I always tell you, look back home. There, the tax system is now developing. So the people who made money earlier, they will be the people who succeed even if the tax system is fixed. The hospitals are in shambles. Most of them are struggling. And so if you are a nurse here, you need to look over there. I know you will say ambulance, so they don't have ambulance, they don't have perfect laws and police and all this stuff. Ambulance here, we pay for it. It's not free. It's not free. I remember I used to drive taxi, and I was coming straight, and there was this guy who was turning around, turning right, and I was going straight. And so the traffic turned yellow when I was in the middle. This guy from nowhere banged into me. Boah! And there's this Tesla pole that I went to hit. It saved me because there was a restaurant just in front of me. So I nearly hit the restaurant. And just at the accident, ambulance was there. I said, no, it's all right. I'm not getting in. I'm okay. And they said, are you sure? I haven't even registered for it. Meanwhile, a friend of mine who was in trouble, like, he got into coma, and we called the ambulance. From where the hospital to the ambulance is just like, 5 minutes. We end up paying like almost $1,000 for that because no registration. And so since then, in 2016, I've registered ambulance for 5 years. And so don't tell me because of ambulance, because of police, because of this, you're not going to Africa, or you're not going to where you come from to do some investment. There may be people who are there to steal from you and all those stuff, but you will still make it. Compared to here, starting a business in Australia, compared to starting a business in Ghana. You can even use $1,000 here to start a business in Ghana. But here, starting a business with $1,000, you come and tell me more about it. And so you need to look that we can become more richer and quicker, faster in a developing country than a developed country. Because here is developed. You need millions and thousands to become somebody here. Unless you know what you're doing. All right, so number 7, which is the last one, you need to see the good things in the country you were born in. You need to see the good things in the country you were born in. Because if you don't see it, even though if it's like, in front of you, you will never see it. The worst thing to look for something is when you are facing opposite. You are facing, let's say now, it's like me facing you and the thing is behind me. That's the worst thing. You could look for something you will never get. So if my mind is that I need to go to Australia to become rich, I need to go to Canada to become rich, need to go to even China to become successful. Chinese people are coming to Ghana. Chinese people are coming to Africa to become richer than you going to China. Americans going to Africa, they become richer in Africa than you going to America. Because when you go to America, if you don't go to school, you're going to be doing factory hand. And factory hand, they pay you like, almost how much? In Australia, roughly, let me tell you this, statistics that I found out. A research that I just discovered from acoss.org.au. 46% of Australians live on paycheck to paycheck. So if they don't pay them 1 week, wahala don't come. 46% of the population, we are about almost 30 million. And 46% of that population, which is about roughly 13 something million, live on paycheck to paycheck. And so how would you establish a business? How would you become somebody? And that's why if I talk, you're going to say, oh, you're talking too much. Because you know yourself that there's no way you're going to become successful, like, massively successful in this country if you are just doing what you are doing. There's about 365 days in a year and 366 days in a leap year. Let's take it from 5 years. In 5 years, if you're getting what you're getting, $1,000 a week, how much are you going to make in a year? There's about 52 weeks in a year. So how much you going to make in a year? let's say you make 52,000, roughly 52,000 in a year. How much are you going to make in the next, let's say, how many years are you going to make $1 million? Meanwhile, don't forget that you need to pay your property rate, you need to pay your mortgage, you need to pay your utilities, you need to pay your, if your child goes to childcare, you need to pay your childcare, you need to pay all those things, and you need to buy your clothes. There's tax deduction in that money. Everything that you buy or you pay tax on it. Even fuel, you pay tax. Even kids lowly, you still pay GST on it. Don't forget. And so roughly in a year, you end up with $1,000 a year. So how much are you going to save to become a billionaire or a millionaire by the age of 60? So that's what you need to know. And there's 16% of Australians who live below the poverty line. So don't tell me that you live in Australia, you're that rich. There are people who live below the poverty line. Roughly, they go home in a week with about $433 a week. So, all what I'm trying to let you know is that we are not that bad. Ghana is not that bad. You can become whoever you want to become if you go back home, or if you do something in your, where you're coming from. You know, I got a friend who is Indian. You can use 10,000 Australia dollars to build a house in India. Can you use 10,000 Australian dollars to build a house here? No way. But you can do that in India. And you can do that in some part of Africa. I remember there's a friend of mine that one of our friends went to buy a phone. That was when iPhone was like, big thing. And so he went to buy an iPhone. And so my friend asked him, like, how much was your iPhone? Oh, I got it for $1,200, which is 1,200. Oh, wow. I can use that to build a house in a village in Kenya. So that's what you need to know, that you can do more with the money that you have in Africa or in Ghana than here in Canada, in US, and all this stuff. Let me tell you this. There are people who saw Ghana as their home, even though they were in overseas, even though they live in the foreign countries and all this stuff. Like somebody like President Kwame Nkrumah, our first president. He was in US. He realized that he could stay in US for the rest of his life. But when he go back to Ghana, he can become somebody. And he did. He became somebody. We still mention his name now. I just mentioned his name. We have President, my own mentor, President Kufuor. He went to university in UK, like, he stayed in Europe and all this stuff. But in the long run, if he was in UK, I don't think he would have become a prime minister, because I haven't even seen an African being a prime minister in UK. So if there is any, let me know. But I haven't seen it, and I'm still waiting for it. I'm still waiting for it. Even not in Australia too, so I'm still waiting for it. But that's what I'm saying. President Kufuor went to Ghana and became a president. President John Mahama became a president, even though he studied abroad. The same as our English president, President Kufuor, the number one. He speaks better English, and not like, he speaks the Queen English better than all the presidents in Africa, I would say it. He grew up in UK, but can you imagine if he stayed in UK like some of his colleagues? Do you think he would have become a president? You know, the beautiful things you see in the movies are owned by people. The beautiful houses you see, they are owned by individuals. It doesn't mean if the country is rich, you can become rich. You can live in the same country and struggle. I know people who have lived in Europe for 30, 20, 50, whatever years you name them. They can't go back home because they never plan of anything. They never suspect that there will be anything good for them back home. And in the long run, they wish they have. So mine, it's better to plan and plan well. Don't ever think that you can never be rich over there. Dangote wouldn't have succeed if he started a cement company in Australia because there's dozens and there's Chinese cement companies too. But he started from Nigeria. Look at it. So whatever business that you have in mind, have a good mind, see good things, that things will happen for you. Because we have this belief that we need to travel. You can travel, but it may not be good for you. And so this is all what I have for you today. Share it, tell a friend to tell another friend, that we can become rich where we were born. We can become powerful. We can become whoever we want to become, even though we live in the West, but we can still become successful in our motherland because you are the only person who needs to believe in your dream. People don't believe in your dream. You think how many people call me and find out, like, what are you doing? They ask you questions that you don't want to explain. Because the more you explain, the more confused you even become. So don't explain yourself to anybody. Just make sure that you are achieving whatever you are here for. At least live and die with your name on you. Like, make a mark on the wall. The handwriting is all over the wall. Make a mark on the wall because when you die now, that's the only thing we will remember. Kwame Nkrumah. And nobody else. Thank you so much for having the time to be with me. Greetings to my family all the way to Bojase and all my friends on social media. The GYT, we're still alive and kicking. GYT members, thank you so much, especially those in Liberia and Ghana. Thank you so much and for giving us the feedback and the goodwill of the people. Thank you. If you want to be part of GYT, it's an organization that we only think about the next generation because we believe that we can be the change generation. Because if you look at it, Kwame Nkrumah was the people who want Africa to be independent. After Kwame Nkrumah, all those people who came, they were just brushing through. They didn't even know what they're doing. And so it's our time now. It's our time to take the mantle and change Africa for good and change our countries for good. You know what? If you see anything good, you like it here, take it home and enjoy it. Thank you so much. And don't forget to pursue your vision with a mission. And we join it with an action and we go straight to the kingdom of riches, a place where good health, happiness, love, success, prosperity, peace of mind, and a whole wealth of money shall follow you for the rest of your life. The name is S.D. Williams. Thank you.